Chapter 14. It wasn't the train driver's first. Catch one more jumper on the volley, and he'd be off the job on a stress-earned full pension. He was given a cup of strong tea and sent home. There were plenty of witnesses. People had lifted their heads to watch the train come in. Afterwards, they queued patiently to tell the British Transport Police exactly how they saw the man's limbs separate from his torso. Walker had given his name and told them that the jumper was Michael Carter, former footballer, survived by his ex-wife and daughter. He explained he was there to catch a train with an old friend and that he didn't know of any reason why he would want to take his own life. He didn't mention any debts or tell them what made the leather holdall at his hip so heavy. Walker left the station. There was a parking ticket on the van's windshield. He didn't know what to do next, so he sat on a cold iron bench next to a litter bin with the bag of money in his lap. The wind had returned, and the rip in his shirt allowed it to get at his skin. He didn't know what to do next, so he shivered and watched an ambulance reverse up onto the curb with a bump, squeezing past the bike racks, backing right to the station entrance, its doors open to collect his friend's body parts. He didn't know what to do next, now that Michael was dead. He sat and watched people being turned away by the police, rolling their eyes. He could hear them tut as they checked their phones for alternative routes. He didn't know what to do next, so was quite glad when he saw a blue tracksuit crossing the road towards him. His head was square and blunt. It reminded Walker of the nose of the train. "Cobb," Blue Tracksuit said. Walker nodded and got to his feet. Holding the bag, Blue Tracksuit's eyes flicked down to it. Walker wanted the strong man to try and take it so he could hit him in the mouth, but he just turned and headed over to a midnight blue Range Rover. Walker followed. Blue Tracksuit opened a rear door. Walker climbed in, placed the bag on the floor by his feet. He recognized the driver and front seat passenger as the two youths from the carpet shop, the pair who carried guns. Blue Tracksuit got in beside Walker. He sat with his back against the door, body turned inwards. "Sit on your hands," Blue Tracksuit said. Walker obeyed. Blue Tracksuit leant over and patted him down. He nodded at Walker's feet. "Open the bag." Walker didn't move, just tensed himself for close-quarter combat with a gorilla. Blue Tracksuit looked bored. He'd said something to the man in the passenger seat, who turned around. In his hand was a pistol that pointed at Walker's gut. Walker looked at the gun, then out of the tinted window at the police, who were still turning people away outside the station. Walker didn't move. The man said something to the driver, who pressed the round on switch of the car radio. Music filled the interior. Walker watched the driver crank the dial all the way up until the back seats vibrated. Walker didn't know the song. The passenger screwed something onto the pistol's muzzle. Walker passed the bag to Blue Tracksuit. The radio was turned off, but the gun didn't move. Blue Tracksuit placed the bag on the middle seat and rooted through. "How much?" 50,000. Blue Tracksuit zipped the hold all up and draped an arm over it. The 4x4 pulled away, and Walker stared out of the window at nothing.